All right, we are recording. Everyone say hi to YouTube. Let's see what the collective is today. What is the tea? What is the collective? What are we talking about on the spiritual water cooler? Oh, by the way, all of the sign readings are up for the monthly. So if you guys want to, if you have not checked yours out already, they are all posted for anyone who's looking for them. I'm not taking those. Try again. That's what I call it, the spiritual water cooler. Because it's just like all our guides sitting around a water cooler talking about us. That's how I imagine it. You know, your guide looks at me and they're like, oh, can you believe what Emily did this week? And then my guide is like, oh my God, look at what Brian did this week. That's how I imagine it. All right, cool. Let's see what's going on. Let's get into this. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. Our guides are fed up. Okay. Bottom of the deck is our challenge. Hello, Lily. Look who it is. Just in time for the collective. You guys have the Sun, the Eight of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles. It feels like for a lot of you, your challenge is, I mean, how do I say this? It's like leaving people behind that are not worth it. You know, you've got when we're talking about the Three of Pentacles, that is like teamwork and collaboration. So it does feel like for a lot of you, the challenge that's like facing you right now is like you might be looking at, okay, I have to like leave some things behind or people if I want to be happy. So how am I really going to go about that? Like how do I do that? So let's dive in. You start with the Nine of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. For some of you, this could be romantic. It doesn't have to be. But it feels like with the Page of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles, you might be looking out into the world, being like, okay, like what else is there? Like what is actually out there for me? You know, I feel like some of you, this is going to be specific for some of you, but like, as we were literally just talking about, some of you grew up in bubbles, you know, like you were kind of like bubble kids. And so it feels like with this Page of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, a lot of you are getting to a better understanding of like who you are, what you want, what your capabilities are. And now you're kind of asking, well, wait, what's actually out there? Like, it's like that sense of, was I lied to? You know, is there a whole other world out there for me? Because with the King of Pentacles and the Hierophant, I feel like this also kind of leads some of you into like more steady work is what I almost want to say here. It feels like leaving your comfort zone or like leaving the bubble that you grew up in leads you to something or somewhere where there is more opportunity for you. There is more money for you. You know, Hierophant is commitment, you know? So it feels like definitely it's about like where you're going to take your commitments. Yeah, Page of Swords. Like I said, a lot of you are just thinking, okay, what else is out there? Let me go and check it out. Let me see. Give me more about the Hierophant, King of Pentacles, please. Seven of Wands, the High Priestess in the reverse. Ace of Wands. Okay, thank you. I am begging y'all, groveling, to please have just a little bit more confidence, a little bit more faith, just a smidge. Okay, I feel like a lot of you guys are falling back into this old pattern of like, nothing is going to work out for me. It doesn't matter what I do. It's, you know, everything is for naught, you know. With that Seven of Wands and the High Priestess in the reverse, it feels like you guys won't even give yourself a chance to be successful before you're like, well, it's pointless, so why even try? I feel like this is like what's keeping you held back for a lot of you, because we're clarifying the King of Pentacles and the Hierophant. It feels like for a lot of you, there isn't anything that you're really ready to commit to and expand upon just yet because of that lack of confidence, or because of that lack of, well, it's not going to work for me, or and not lack of, it's not going to work for me. It's like abundant. You have too many thoughts that are not good, such as, it's not going to work for me, I'm never going to be successful, etc., etc. Because even here in your clarifying row, you've got the King of Swords and the Knight of Cups. It feels like a lot of you guys, before you even go out on journeys, before you even do anything, are just kind of like, well, this is probably going to fail anyway. What we think about is what we bring about. So why are we thinking this? A lot of you guys need to start thought policing. I've said this to you 8 million times, and I will continue to say it to you, because a lot of you are letting your thoughts and your mind play you for Boo-Boo the Fool right now. Okay? You are convincing yourselves that you're not worthy, that you are not good enough, you are not resourceful enough, you are not smart enough, etc. Whatever the enough is for you. A lot of you guys are falling back into that pit of almost like, I want to say despair. I know that's really dramatic, but that's like what this feels like. Because your last two cards are the Empress and the Ten of Cups. How can we ever birth a beautiful, loving, supportive life for ourselves if, Empress, we don't feel worthy of it? We don't feel like we're good enough. A lot of you guys at this point in your healing journeys, you're not fighting anyone else. You're fighting yourself. You're fighting your negative self-talk and your beliefs. But the problem is here is that it feels like for some of you, and again, like, some of y'all are not going to like this, but you just roll over. There's no, I don't know who needs to hear this. My guides really want me to say it. Grow a fucking backbone. Why are we just rolling over? Why are we taking it? Why are we settling for it? Even if it's from ourselves. We have to stand. If we are our own bullies, you have to stand up to yourself. You need to start talking back to yourself. Talking back to your brain here. Okay? Because a lot of you are just like, your brain will be like, oh, you're so worthless. And you're just like, yeah, I am. What are we doing? What's happening here? Why are we allowing our brain to speak this way to us? Why are we allowing ourselves to speak this way to us? Yeah, Five of Swords in the reverse. Self-sabotage, that's why. A lot of you guys keep asking, where is my success? The question you need to ask is, why won't I let myself have it? This isn't a matter of, why is the universe bringing it to me? Why is it not happening? This is a matter of, you won't let it happen. You won't allow yourself to be successful. You won't allow yourself to have good things, to have hope, And it's like your guides are just like banging their head against the wall here. Yeah, Page of Cups. Ace of Swords, Page of Cups, Ten of Swords. A lot of you guys need to, how do I say this? Like, because it goes deeper than what I want to say, but the entry point to this is you need to accept that your childhood was bad. That it was not good. Okay? And then from there, you need to figure out what to do about it. Okay? Because for a lot of you guys, the stubbornness stems from the fact that you don't want to have this talk with yourself. It stems from the fact that you are not ready to confront what is actually right in front of you and keeping you stuck. It is the self-limiting belief that comes from childhood. It is what was said to you. It is the underlying message. It is the dominant theme of your life of not feeling good enough comes directly from what you were taught as a child. And it feels like a lot of you guys are just not, for whatever reason, you're all different. You're all humans. You're all stubborn in different ways. you guys need to figure out why you don't want to face it, why you don't want to look at it. You know, it's like the way my guides are saying this is like, as an adult, you should feel empowered to take things back. You know, I mean, literally look at my room. If you need an example, I am 30 years old. I also did not have a childhood. And guess what? I'm taking it back. I'm doing it for myself now. Okay? I am actively striving and working to heal that part of me, to help myself move on, to give myself that childhood. Ow. I don't know why I just did that. That childhood that I lost. Okay? A lot of you guys need to, I know this is very brutal, but you need to face the music. You have to start seeing, or not seeing, how do I say that? You need, this is mean too. You need to start thinking like adults. Okay? I feel like a lot of you guys are just still in this place of like angsty, defiant middle schooler. And it's not serving you. You know, the way my guides want me to say this is pretty brutal. At the end of the day, if you are not happy with the life that surrounds you, but you are doing absolutely nothing to better it, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Okay, so just look at the childhood. Accept it. I don't really know what else. There's not really much else that you can do besides see the childhood, accept that it wasn't good, and accept that this is your time as an adult to reclaim it. Okay? We cannot go back in time. I cannot turn the wheel of time, go back, and make my childhood better. I just simply cannot. The only way I can do it is to heal in the present and then reclaim it for myself in one way or another. Okay? But a lot of you guys are not realizing that your stuckness stems from that childhood. It stems from that wound that you're not really looking at and you're not really dealing with. All right, let's get you an oracle card. Why can I not pick this up? Some of y'all got Butterfingers. Oh, that was fast. Thank you. Why is it in the reverse? No, try again. I don't think you want that. Why is this not cooperating with me? Okay, thank you. Interesting. Okay. Your advice today is Gadriel, Angel of War. Interesting. Interesting. Where is he? Boop, boop. Number is 49 for anyone that's into numerology. All right. This card is a reminder that you must be careful when offering yourself to a righteous cause. Blood draws a bright line. When committing yourself to violence, it's important to know why. There is no greater trust than following your fellows into battle, which is why it is important to interrogate that trust before the fighting starts. Once the bleeding begins, it may be difficult to staunch the flow. Interesting. I feel like this is, to me, this is almost like needing to pick a battle. You know, I feel like we are always talking about all these different ways to heal and all the, like, coping mechanisms we can employ, but I feel like some of you guys haven't even picked a battle. You haven't even picked a thing to heal. You're just kind of, like, floundering. You know, with Gadriel, I feel like you need to start looking at less of, like... it's not so much like going into war, going into violence, but picking like which cause is the most important for me right now. What do I feel like is keeping me the most stuck? Is it my childhood? Is it my mother? Is it my father? Is it my upbringing? There's so many different like the way I'm hearing it is like there's so many different tools to enable us to heal, but in order to heal, you have to pick something to actively work on healing. Okay? So this to me feels like just a reminder for you guys that you have to be intentional about your healing. This is not just oh, I'll sit for the collective every single day and in a year I'll be fine. That's not helping you. The collective is only going to help you if you apply it to what is actually bothering you. If you apply it to what actually is wrong. Okay? I will leave it there. That is your collective for today. Like I said, this will find its way onto YouTube. So if you are watching on YouTube, hopefully I see you one day here on Twitch. But if I don't, that is okay. I will see you in the next video. Bye.